here today for the inauguration of the second International Conference on Technologies in Energy, Agriculture and Healthcare, ICTEAH 2025, organized by KJ Somaya School of Engineering, Somaya Vidya Vihar University. This conference promises to be a confluence of ideas, innovation, and interdisciplinary dialogue. As we embark on this conference, it is my privilege to invite to the dais the visionaries whose presence lends purpose and inspiration to this gathering. Please join me in welcoming Professor Dr. V. N. Rajashekharan Pillai, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Somaya Vidya Vihar University, Dr. Sanjay Jambulkar, our Dr. Suresh Ukarande, Conference Chair and Director, KJ Somaya School of Engineering, Dr. Deepak Sharma, Deputy Director, KJ Somaya School of Engineering, Dr. Shailesh Nikam, Organizing Secretary of the Conference, and Dr. Makarand Kulkarni, Joint Organizing Secretary of the Conference. To mark the auspicious beginning of this event, I now request our dignitaries to come forward for the lighting of the ceremonial lamp, a symbol of enlightenment, wisdom, and the pursuit of knowledge. As the ceremonial lamp glows, symbolizing the light of knowledge and discovery, let us take a moment to seek the blessings for journey ahead. I request everyone to kindly rise and join us for the Somaya prayer.
ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीता मा गृहस्थस्य स्विद्धनम् मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती अमृतं गमय ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै सर्वे सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति
Moving ahead with the proceedings, I invite Dr. Shailesh Nikam, Organizing Secretary of ICTEAH 2025, to extend a warm welcome and set the tone for the sessions ahead.
Good morning to one and all. Chief guest of the today's program, Dr. Sanjay Jambulkar. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Somaya Vidyavihar University, Professor V.N. Rajeshekharan Pillai. Registrar of Somaya Vidyavihar University, Dr. Nandakumar Gilke. Director of KJ Somaya School of Engineering, Dr. Suresh Shukrande. Deputy Director, Dr. Deepak Sharma. Invited speaker, Dr. Sudhir Ranjan Jain. Dr. Nandakumar Kunjge. HOIs of various institutes, deans, HODs, faculty members, and dear participants. It gives me immense pleasure to extend warm welcome to all of you gathered here for second international conference on technologies for energy, agriculture, and healthcare. That is ICTEAH 2025. This conference serves as a platform for us to collaborate, learn from each other, exchange the ideas to address sustainable development goals in the area energy, agriculture, and healthcare. This is our second edition of the conference. We had a same conference, first edition, organized last year successfully under the leadership of our director, Dr. Ukrande sir. And I am happy to share that our conference proceeding is published with the CRC Press, which is also indexed in the Scopus. This year we have even got the better response. Total we obtained 357 submissions, which went through double-blind review process critically, and out of that 93 papers are accepted and 7 posters are there to display. We have total 93 presentations lined up along with the 5 keynote talks over these 2 days. Finally, I encourage all the participants to make maximum use of this platform to exchange the ideas. As an organizing secretary, I once again welcome all the participants for the ICTEAH 2025. Thank you.
We are deeply honored to have with us today our chief guest, Dr. Sanjay Jambulkar, Professor and former Head of Mutation Breeding Section at Homi Bhabha National Institute, Mumbai. As a token of our respect and appreciation, I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor V.N. Rajeshekharan Pillai, to felicitate Dr. Sanjay Jambulkar. Now I invite Dr. Suresh Shukrande, Conference Chair and Director of KJ Somaya School of Engineering, to address the gathering and share his vision behind ICTEAH 2025.
Good morning to all of you. Am I audible properly? Dignitaries on the dais, chief guest of today's function, Dr. Sanjay Jambulkar, renowned scientist from BRC, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajshekharan Pillai, Vice Chancellor of Somaya Vidyavar University, and former Vice Chairman and Chairman of University Grants Commission, Dr. Nandakumar Gilke, Registrar of Somaya Vidyavar University, Dr. Deepak Sharma, Deputy Director, Dr. Nikam, Convener for this conference, and Professor Makrand, Dr. Nandana. We have in the audience Dr. Sudhir Ranjan Jain, who has joined yesterday as a Professor of Eminence in our university, especially in the KJ Somaya School of Engineering. And today he will be delivering this talk immediately after this inaugural session. We have with us Dr. Nandakumar Kunjge, Director for KJ Somaya School of Applied Agriculture Research. We have Dean Faculty of Science, Dr. Nitin Desai, my faculty members, staff, students, and participants to this international conference from various states of this country, and keynote speakers to the various sessions. I welcome you all to this second and with a double-blind review, we got 93 papers selected, all registered, and some papers. So response is increasing, and we hope this will continue for years together. And it's a platform made available to the researchers, to the academicians, from industry expert, so that all of can come together, listen to the presentations, and exchange the ideas and thoughts. So this is the platform dedicated for sharing the innovations, sharing the research ideas with each other. And the energy, agriculture, and healthcare. These are our thrust areas that's at university level and institute level. And that's why we have decided to have the conference, international conference on these thrust areas, and with a, 1 minute discussion only that we want to arrange such and such a conference. We met our Honorable Vice Chancellor. He said, it's a very good topic and very good initiative of KJ Somaya School of Engineering, and within the minute he has permitted, and we are here for the second international conference today. The theme is energy, agriculture, and healthcare. These three pillars, it's very important. Energy, with the increased population, increased industrialization, increased urbanization, the requirement of energy is going to be huge. And if you see the topics given in this brochure in these three domains, energy, agriculture, and healthcare, there are a number of topics under each head. 10, 12 topics are there, but not limited to. If you take one subtopic under this energy, that is renewable energy. And you know the renewable energy, wind energy, solar, tidal energy, now hydrogen. So these, each and every domain of this renewable energy, maybe wind, maybe solar, it's a need of a time. You know it very well. And if I have to give an example where the research is, it has happened previously in so many years, it is going on, it will continue hereinafter also. It's a need of a time. Suppose for developing, let's say 4x2 panel of this thing is there, for solar panel is there. So whatever the amount of energy or electricity develops, research is going on. Maybe now also it is happening, or in maybe a couple of years or maybe a couple of months down the line, 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter panel will develop the same amount of energy. So that research is happening, and that may happen in near future. That's where the role of the scientist and the academician, industrialist to work on various needs, problems faced by the society at large and give a better solution. Now, as far as agriculture is concerned and healthcare is concerned, as I said, as per the increased demand, increase to cater the requirement of food, and you know it, land available for this agriculture, maybe 50, 60, 70 years before, almost same land is available. So new land is, made available for this agriculture. By the time, because of this industrialization and urbanization, the land which is under cultivation is reduced. So almost same amount of land is available. So with the same amount of land available, with the use of technology, with the use of research, so we need to cater the population which is increased 4 to 5 times. So here is the role of the scientists and the engineers and those who are working in this domain to continue the research so that whatever the increase in population is there, we should be able to take care of the food requirement in forms of crops and fruits, vegetable, and so on. So here is the requirement of the research to be happen in this agricultural domain. Same is the case in healthcare domain as well. Now we know it, since that's from research in this healthcare domain, right from X-ray to MRI. MRI, it's 10, 15 years back. Now so much of research is also going on. Operation by, manually, now it is by robots or laser and so on. So a lot of research is happened, it's happening and will continue. And it is, I'm proud to say that faculty of this institute, the students from MTech, PhD or even UG students from this institute are working very closely with the, our own medical college at Science campus to work on healthcare projects and with agricultural project with our own research institute at Bagalkot district, that is KJ Somaya Institute of Applied Agriculture Research, which is functioning under Dr. Nandakumar Kunjige. So various projects are already in pipeline and students are working on these projects, and some of the projects, those are worked with this ICTEAH or maybe work with this medical college. Some of the presentations are there in this today's conference as well. And it's not that only faculty or students are working in this agricultural healthcare, they are working in various domains as well, but major focus is on energy, agriculture and healthcare. And I hope we'll continue the trend, and near future we'll see various projects, funded projects from the funding agencies from national level to support the research at KJ Somaya School of Engineering. I thank the chief guest for accepting our invitation, and Honorable Vice Chancellor for gracing this occasion, and all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais for coming here and making this event a grand success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karande sir. We are also privileged to have with us Dr. Nandakumar Gilke, Registrar Somaya Vidyavihar University. I request sir to say a few words.
Namaskar, good morning. Today's chief guest, Dr. Sanjay Zambulkar, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor V.N. Rajashekharan Pillai, and also the Vice President of AIU, Association of Indian University presently, Dr. Suresh Ukarande, Director, School of Engineering, Vice Principal, Dr. Deepak Sharma, my colleagues, Dr. Nandana Prabhu and Makaran Kulkarni, Professor Jain, now our own colleague now, Professor Nanda Kumar from KIAAR, the deans of various faculties, faculty of Somaya Vidyavihar University and other faculty who is attending this particular program, my dear students and researchers. So this is the Dvitiya conference, you can say, on Urja Tantradhyan, Krushi Tantradhyan and Swasthya Tantradhyan. So on this occasion, I would like to firstly congratulate the School of Engineering for subsequently organizing this conference so that the researchers, the PhD scholars and the faculty get a chance to represent their research work. Very shortly, I will just update regarding the Somaiya Vidyavihar University. So we completed almost more than 6 years. Now we'll be completing 6 years in August 2025, and within 6 years probably the first university, state private university in Maharashtra who got the NAAC A grade accreditation. Regarding the various developments that we are doing, quickly in the last academic council, I will say 2 major decisions which were taken, of course with the initiative of Professor Pillai, who had, I think on the day one, insisted that our science departments are under the shadow of the technology department and they should have their own identity. So we have established or created the Department of Physics, the Department of Chemistry. I think definitely, sir, due to your initiative, this could happen, and the science faculty are now, I think, very happy. I see the smiling faces. So it's not that they didn't have the scope, but now they have a different identity. So more responsibility will come with regard to the research and PhD work in these departments as well. Of course, the university always strive for research work, and we have also established quite a few center of excellence. But I see that less students and faculty are taking the advantage. There are some, but I feel more and more usage of this faculty, wherein we have spent more than crores of rupees to establish this high computing facilities are there. So I request all the teachers and researchers to take the advantage of this highly skilled laboratories which we have developed, and definitely I think the research would be great in this particular university. We are eager to hear from Dr. Jambulkar, so I won't take. Once again, congratulate Somaiya School of Engineering for organizing this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gilke sir. Now I request Professor Rajashekharan Pillai sir to address the audience.
Good morning, everybody. Today is 5th June and World Environment Day. Let me wish you all the very best on the occasion of the World Environment Day. It is by chance that we have organized this particular seminar or conference on 5th and 6th. But it has great significance when we inaugurate this particular program on the World Environment Day. Let me once again wish the very best for each and every one of us to protect the nature and also the environment on this auspicious day. Professor Sanjay Jambulkar, chief guest of today's function, and a distinguished biologist, sir. Of course, I do not know whether it is biology or whatever, life scientist or agricultural scientist or. Thank you very much. Of course, when Dr. Suresh Shukrande requested to me to find out a person to inaugurate this session, I researched a little bit, and I found out that there is one gentleman who was working in Bombay for several years, who has contributed significantly in this area. And also, of course, I heard him in Ahmedabad University. I thought he would be the apt person to come to the university, not just to inaugurate this particular conference to come to the university and interact with all of us. This is your first visit to Somaya Vidyavihar University, and let me welcome on behalf of the university and on my personal behalf, Professor Nambudkar. We have also another, he is not guest now, he is part of us, Professor Sudhir Ranjan Jain, a distinguished quantum physicist. He will describe it another way, maybe quantum physicist, who has significant contributions, significant world-renowned contributions in the area of theoretical physics and all that. Of course, in such a function, maybe 3 years or 4 years ago, I met him, and I was looking for an opportunity to bring him to the university. He was part of the National Quantum Mission, Prime Minister's Advisory Committee. And he is also now, after just retirement, he is from the BARC. Of course, they all retire very, very young in such institutions. So he is also working for the University of Mumbai DAE-supported integrated science education program. He's a professor there, and he has accepted my invitation to be a professor of eminence in this university and guide us in engineering, science, and related areas. Of course, I do not know which are the areas he's going to support. Let me welcome Professor Jain to our midst. Congratulations and best wishes to you. He joined yesterday. Of course, you might have, it's good that you are also giving a plenary lecture today, and that would be your inaugural lecture for the university. Congratulations and best wishes. My Professor Nandakumar, from our own sister institution, KR, my colleague registrar, Professor Gilke and Professor Ukrande, and all my colleagues in the K.J. Somaya College of Engineering and the university, distinguished participants for this 2-day conference on, these are nowadays conferences have very long titles, you know. Yeah. So, conference on technologies for energy, agriculture, and healthcare. So, I will just look at energy, agriculture, and healthcare. All the other things, for the time, I forget. So, energy, agriculture, and healthcare. And then again, I will reword it like that: agriculture, energy, and healthcare, not alphabetic, but for some reason. Professor M.S. Bharata Ratna, Professor M.S. Swaminathan used to say that agriculture is the first to be taken care of in any country. He used to say that. Today is World Environment Day also. If we just look at, for example, if we just look at agriculture in a holistic perspective, I think the rest of the things will come automatically, all our endeavors. And it is definitely agriculture, and then energy. Energy is very important because energy flows where nature thrives. If nature is not thriving, there will not be energy. So we have to understand on this Environment Day that energy flows where nature thrives, and therefore we have to ensure that the nature thrives. That is the message we have to communicate to the generations and to the students. Harnessing the power of the earth, sun, and wind, we can fuel a sustainable future in harmony with our planets. We have 3 sessions: agriculture, healthcare, and all that. Today, I mentioned again World Environment Day. Today morning, of course, even now I read newspapers. So I read at least 5-6 articles on World Environment Day. From M.S. Swaminathan Research Foundation, there were 1 or 2 articles in the print media. And this World Environment Day, the focus is on environmental health-related factors. A new domain of epidemics is coming out of the environmental risk factors. Just by climate change, because of the climate change, the heat changes happening in the world, that is affecting 12% of the population, 12% of the diseases. Heat changes, just 1 degree or that, I do not know about that 1 degree or 0.5 degree, 12% population. And exposure to different artificial things. That is also causing a big health risk. So a new discipline like exposomics is coming in a big way. Exposomics, due to exposure, the things which are happening because of the exposure. And therefore, healthcare is very, energy for healthcare is very important. Because as a university, we have been promoting agriculture, education, training, and capacity building in agriculture. Then healthcare, of course, we have a not sister institution, our own institution, Ayur Vihar. We as a Somaya Vidya Vihar Trust is focused. This is Vidya Vihar, knowledge, education, and we have another campus just 4 kilometers away. It is called Somaya Ayur Vihar, focusing on health in all its relevance: medical college, nursing college, physiotherapy college, cancer research institute, all these things in the so it is called Somaya Ayur Vihar. That means as a responsible organization for the last 83 years, we have been focusing on education and health. And if we focus on education and the health, the rest of the things will come automatically. Any society which has focused on education, basic education and basic health, such societies have been empowered even within our country or all over the world. And therefore, empowering of the society can happen through the right kind of education, and right kind of health opportunities. Therefore, the healthcare is very important. I see good number of papers in agriculture and healthcare from the researchers in this conference. And then, of course, healthcare, agriculture, and in energy, of course, we have all sorts of experts in energy. And it is, of course, I was reading that the energy is not, more than energy, the thing is how to store energy. That is the most important thing. Storing energy and utilizing it very effectively. And there is, again, an international mission just looking at opportunity. It is called storing energy. I forget the acronym of that institution, that society. That is a very big activity focusing in all institutions all over the world. And India also is concentrating very on this particular area of how to store energy and effectively utilize it. And therein comes the importance of semiconductors, quantum computing, all those things. And as a university, we are just looking at these factors. We have been a teaching institution for the last 60 plus years in higher education, in primary and school education, 83 years. And as a university, we are only 5 years old, and therefore we are definitely just looking at creating opportunities for research and integrating research as part of the undergraduate and postgraduate education in all our endeavors. And we have created 100 full-time research fellowships, in the tune of the national value of the scholarship at the national level, a little bit more. 100 junior research fellowships we have created. We have started a center for computational simulations and modeling, because many of these things which we do experimentally, probably there is a need for simulation and then doing it. We have Center for Computational Simulation and Modeling. On 9th and 10th, we have a two-day conference. I mean, getting the topmost people in computational science in the country coming to this campus and spending 2 days on computation, simulation, and modeling. So then we have a number of centers of excellence in College of Engineering, in the biomedical area. For example, when we talk about healthcare, in the biomedical area we are focusing. We have also, of course, when Dr. Gilke mentioned about physics and chemistry were happening in this our colleges, engineering college, in other institutions. We have, for example, I am from the chemistry field. I'm an experimental chemistry person. So in the chemistry field, we have in this campus we have almost not almost, exactly 17 laboratories in chemistry. Whether it be in that college A, college B, college C, or college D, or the junior college, we have so many laboratories in chemistry. Similarly, in physics also, several laboratories. Maybe it may be part of the +2 system, it may be part of the UG, PG program. We have, for example, in this campus, in one of the colleges, we are conducting 4 MSc chemistry programs. 4 MSc chemistry programs we are running. We have physics, all sciences are there. But as part of the university, we have created these chemistry and physics postgraduate teaching and research departments were not there, and therefore we have created. Of course, we have the School of Basic and Applied Sciences. Professor Nitin Desai is sitting here, who is the director of the School of Basic and Applied Sciences and Dean of the Faculty of Science. We have an environmental science department, we have biotechnology department, we have life sciences department, we have a center for Somaiya Center for Integrated Science Education and Research we started recently. Just started with 14 students. Now it's the second batch of integrated program. The very prominent teachers from all over the country are teaching them, in addition to our own teachers. And then we have a Somaiya Institute of Research and Consultancy, which we started just before we became a university. It's known as CIRAC. We are providing postdoctoral fellowships. We are giving seed money to researchers, all these things. So we are trying to promote research in a big way. And of course, as affiliated colleges, we were excelling in teaching. And of course, we were also doing research as part of the Mumbai University. Now, in the Somaiya Vidyavihar University system, we are trying to promote research in a very significant way by providing the necessary kind of human resources and also trying to create infrastructure in a systematic way. And this conference and dialogues which are happening in such conferences will be some sort of a catalyst for promoting such quality endeavors in promoting research. Of course, I have been here for the last 6-7 years now. In whichever conference, whether it be conducted in the earlier College of Engineering of Professor Suresh Karande in the other campus, KJ Somaiya Institute of Technology, or in any conference of research, I have usual Vice Chancellor's sermon about the quality of research. It is very important that we should have conferences and all that, but we should look at the quality of research. Quality of research is very important. Publication ethics is very important. Getting good publications in very good journals, even though the number may be less, but that is very important. We have to show that in each of this area which I mentioned, whether it be humanities, social sciences, language, literature, or basic sciences, we should be able to, somebody should be able to say, in Somaiya Vidyavihar University, there is a core team working in this area. That is how a university is recognized all over the world. And that is precisely what is required when we think about promoting research. That is, of course, we have been focusing on teaching. Now we are trying to establish research in a very big way, and these endeavors are like this. And therefore, I again, for all young researchers who are contributing to conferences, papers, and all that, they should look at the quality of publications and the ethics of research publications. Because if we do not look at the quality of research publications, we will be in doldrum. It will be a very difficult situation. You know that even premier institutions in this country, they may be doing extremely well, but maybe 1 or 2 cases of, lowering the quality and retraction of even papers. Retraction of even research papers by publication. Somebody will publish it after a few years. The journal itself will retract that publication because of the lack of evidence or something. That these are all some of the things which you have to take in when it comes to quality of research and quality of publications. And there are, of course, in a university there are a lot of possibilities for research. Probably the experts will say more about such things, but I thought it is very important that we should look at, in addition to promoting all these activities, we should look at the quality and the rigor, and the quality and the rigor of research when it comes to whether it be PhD research or postdoctoral research, undergraduate research, and all that. Let me wish you the very best. Thank you very much for organizing such an event. Let me congratulate the organizing team and Professor Suresh Kurande for the wonderful initiatives the engineering college is taking for promoting research in this university. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pillai sir, for enlightening the audience about the importance of quality research. Dr. Kashinath Patil, the Associate Dean of Research, KJ Somaiya School of Engineering, has been doing significant and outstanding research. I now request Dr. Sanjay Jambulkar for felicitating KN Patil. Already mentioned by Dr. Nikam in the opening remarks, the conference proceedings of ICTEAH 2024 have already been published and are indexed in Scopus. I now request our dignitaries to unveil the proceedings of ICTEAH 2024 and also release the souvenir of ICTEAH 2025. Thank you all for unveiling the proceedings, a proud reflection. Yeah. Thank you all for unveiling the proceedings, a proud reflection of our shared academic efforts. I now request all dignitaries to take their seats in the audience. Dr. Deepak Sharma, the Deputy Director of KJ Somaiya School of Engineering, will introduce the chief guest.
Good morning and welcome once again. It's my privilege and pleasure to introduce today's chief guest, Professor Sanjay Jambulkar. Professor S.J. Jambulkar has obtained his MSc and PhD degrees in the subject of genetics from Indian Agriculture Research Institute, New Delhi. He joined the Nuclear Agriculture and Biotechnology Division of BARC Mumbai in 1991 as a Scientific Officer C and has retired as Scientific Officer H on superannuation. He was head of mutation breeding section and professor in Homi Bhabha National Institute. He was PhD faculty in HBNI and various agriculture universities all across India. His area of specialization is mutation breeding for the genetic improvement of crop plants. The mutation breeding program in Indian mustard has resulted in isolation of a large spectrum of variability for morphological, biochemical, yield attributes, and biotic and abiotic stress tolerance. Genetic analysis of these mutants has deciphered novel phenomena in nuclear and cytoplastic inheritance. The phenomena of uncontrolled variability showed a newer path in evolution of crop plants. He has developed 8 high-yielding varieties in mustard, namely TPM1, TAM1081 for Maharashtra, TBM204, TBM143 for West Bengal, THPM1 for Himachal Pradesh, BBM1 for Jharkhand, TJM1 and TJM2 for the state of Rajasthan. He has also worked on mutation breeding program of sunflower and isolated large spectrum of mutations for morphological characters and developed one high-yielding variety TAS82 for Maharashtra. Farmers are cultivating these varieties on a large scale and reaping the benefits of his inventions. He has taught genetics, cytogenetics and plant breeding for 17 years in Training School of Homi Bhabha National Institute. He was a member, secretary of Food and Agriculture Committee in the Board of Research and Board of Research in Nuclear Science. More than 100 projects on mutation breeding were awarded to various agricultural universities throughout the India under his leadership. He has delivered more than 100 lectures all over India on a peaceful use of nuclear energy in the field of agriculture. He is also the guest editor of INCAS Bulletin. He has worked on 3 international projects associated with Food and Agriculture Organization, IAEI. He has also worked as an expert in International Atomic Energy Agency, Vienna, Austria, and has visited several countries like USA, Austria, China, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Cameroon. He is recipient of prestigious NAFA IAEA International Award in the year 2014 and 2021. He was awarded with DAE Group Achievement Award as a group leader in 2014, 2009, and 2007. He is also a gold medalist of the Society of Rapeseed Mustard Research 2019 and a fellow of SRMR India. He has been awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award of 2024 of ICAR SRMR. His publications in the national and international journals and has books acknowledge his strength in crop mutation research. His recent publications have been in the Nature and Scientific Reports. Thank you, sir, for attending today's conference as chief guest. I invite you for your talk. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. The title of the conference, that is the International Conference on the Technologies for Energy, Agriculture and Healthcare. It's a good blend of the, if you want to see the progress of the country, if these three factors, energy, agriculture and healthcare, if any indices are there in the world, if your ranking is very, very high, it indicates that your country is a progressive. And therefore, the conference, I will say that it's an apt blend to see that your country is progressing. And for this particular seminar, you have given me the chance to deliver the lecture as a chief guest. So first of all, I would like to thank to Dr. Pillai, Dr. Urkunde, Dr. Nikam, and Dr. Gilte for this honor. When I received a phone call from Dr. Pillai, I asked him that I am Jambudkar speaking, and do you know about me? So the answer which he has given, sir, I know you very well. So that encouraged me that the person like high profile, he knows my name. So I will talk about the little bit of the energy, healthcare, and then my subject. Hopefully I will get 20 minutes. Okay, I will try to finish that one within a time. Yeah, so by 11:25 I should be in the. If we talk about the energy, it's a clear-cut direct relationship or the correlationship or the progress of the country and the energy utilization. Higher the utilization, highest ranking, or you can say the developed countries or the well-developed countries. If you see the energy consumption of India, it is near about 1,400 kilowatt hours per capita consumption. But if you see the energy consumption of the developed countries, like China, it goes near about 7,000. USA, it goes near about 13,000. And there are the countries which goes about the 52,000 kilowatt hour. As I said that there is a direct relationship of the energy utilization and the progress of the country, or to indicate that your country is developed. In that term, still we are lacking behind, and there is a lot of things to be done to increase this utilization and go at least 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, above 6,000 minimum, to indicate that yes, our country is a developed country. Now, BRC is working on the energy, all of you know, and we are working on the nuclear energy. In the future, when the all fossil fuel will decrease, maybe after 50 years or the 100 years or 150 years, we will have to look for an alternative energy. And in my opinion, there is, if you exhaust our fossil fuels, there will be no alternative but the nuclear energy. So BRC is working on this direction to see that our energy level will go high and high in coming days. About the health. Health is if you think of the Global Health Security Index, ours is 66 out of 195 countries. Whereas if you compare with the US stands one above among the 195 countries. So there is a need to develop the infrastructure and the technologies which will go to the poor among the poor. Now present day, if you see the infrastructure facilities, near about 70% infrastructure facilities about the medical science, it goes to the cities where 27% people lives. And for the 70%, those who stays in the rural area, they have only the 25% infrastructure. So we'll have to think in this direction. As Dr. Amartya said, Nobel laureate Amartya Sen, growth without the investment in the human development is the unsustainable and unethical. I think it's our duty that look into each and every point to see that other nation will say that yes, India is a developed country. But we will have to fulfill rest of the criteria. Now I will come to my subject, that is the nuclear energy in the agriculture, or the use of nuclear technology in agriculture and food security. Again, the point comes whether really we are the food secure country or not under the situation of increasing population growth, then it's increasing, cultivated land is decreasing, there is a lot of climate change, we are experiencing the unseasonal rain, drought and heat, and each and everybody is looking for the good quality of the life. As the population grows, we will be near about 1.68 billion in the 2050, and that time we require near about 459 million tons of the food grain. Our present food grain production is 325 million tons. That has to be more or less double in the coming 20-25 years. Then and then we'll be able to feed the countries. There is a Malthus theory. What he says, I don't know whether my indicator here or Malthus says there is a population growth goes in a geometric ways and the agricultural production goes in a arithmetic ways. As the number of the person will increase, there will be some kind of the disharmony. You can see the green and red. There will be some kind of the disharmony where we will not able to feed the people. Okay? We will not able to produce that much food which is required by the people. And if you see this graph, it is given by the Commission on the Sustainable Agriculture and the Climate Change. This gap has started in the 2018. So there is a food demand is increasing and the supply is decreasing. So this should not happen. There is a need to increase the food production. Yeah. If there is no sufficient food, again, Dr. Amartya Sen, he has written on this hunger, which this is happened in the Great Bengal during that time, the Great Bengal famine in 1942 to 43, where the 1.5 to 4 million people died because of the non-availability of the food. And again, Dr. Amartya Sen has written a good thing. So if there is no food, it's very difficult. Great philosopher like a Roman philosopher Seneca says, a hungry person listens neither to reason nor religion nor bent by any prayer. One can experience this by keeping yourself hungry for the 5 days. Again, the second point is a global hunger index. Now, 2024 global hunger index is 27.3. If you see this scale, it becomes in the serial. It classified as a serious nature of the GHI. So again, we are not in that stage to say that yes, we are the developed countries where we are getting the sufficient food. So there are these challenges. Challenges in the crop improvement. One should have the high yielding varieties. That variety should be resistant to biotic and abiotic stresses. It should adapt to the changing climate, and it should have the high nutritional value. So we in the Bhabha Atomic Research Center, we are working on the mutation. Mutation is a sudden heritable changes in the genes. That we do using the nuclear energy like gamma rays, X-rays, alpha, beta. Okay? I will not go into the details of all the slide. It will take a long time. So why the mutation breeding? It gives the quick answer to the problem imposed by the nature. Okay? Whether it's a drought, high temperature, or the disease resistance, or the high yielding, or the quality. I will give just few examples. Since the evolution of the crop plants and the human being, mutation has helped to come to this stage. Okay? And in the crop plants, mutation and the crossbreeding has helped. You can see this old Teosinte maize and now the improved maize. Okay? You can see the tomato which was very small, now we have the big. So it is all the effect of the mutation and the hybridization. The green revolution happened because of the mutation. The genes which is called as RHT1 and RHT2 in a wheat and SD1 in rice. These are all mutations. Previously our varieties were very tall, and now we have the dwarf varieties. These are responsive to the nitrogen fertilizer, and they are having the higher yield than the old varieties. And therefore we were able to come to the stage of the green revolutions. And the credit goes to, particularly for the Indian Green Revolution, happened because, as Dr. Pillai said, Dr. Swaminathan's work. So he is responsible for the Green Revolution in India, who got the 1987 World Food Prize. This is another example. In the Africa, why the mutations are important? That's what I'm telling. It is because of the Green Revolution genes, dwarfing genes. Second example I will give, that it's a rust. In the world there was a threat that Uganda rust will take over all over this is the disease, and it will spread all over India. But the mutation breeding started, and they could develop the resistant variety. This is one of the very good example of the mutation breeding in the pears cultivation in Japan. The total Japanese pear cultivation was susceptible for the 2 years in the Japan, and there was only one branch in their gamma garden which was resistant to the this black spot disease. Okay, they isolated that one, and now present day cultivation, it is because of that particular single branch. So this is how mutations can revolutionize the particular crops. Therefore, we in the BARC, we are working on the mutation breeding at the Nuclear Agriculture and Biotechnology Division. Our objective is to develop the high yielding varieties, and that should be resistant to the various biotic and abiotic stresses with the desirable nutritional quality. This is the gamma chamber where we keep the seed exposed to the radiations, particularly gamma rays, and then we undertake the studies. There are the mutagens called as the physical mutagens and the chemical mutagens. Okay? And this is how we do the basic studies, which particular dose is critical to isolate the particular mutation. The mutations happens at the chromosomal and at the gene level, as well as the extranuclear mutations. These are some of the chromosomal mutations. These are at the DNA level and the gene level mutations. And this is the procedure, just to see that how the mutations occur. The green plant, there is some few yellow plant. This is just an example for the chlorophyll mutations. Likewise, we isolate the mutations for the various characters. And there are the undesirable mutations are deleted, and the desirable mutations are selected, and the characters, which you take any kind of the character, starting from the yield to biochemical to physiological, we can isolate the mutations for that. And there are the all over world, I will show you some mutations just for an example. See the leaf mutations in the groundnut, and then flower mutations in the soybean, seed size mutations in the groundnut, seed number. You see, we can increase the number. Okay, see the color of the seeds. Okay, color of the seed, the flower mutations. Okay, there is a tremendous variability for the wheat panicle, the silica on the mustard seed. This is, you see here the green is a standard silica with the less number of the seed. Then we involve in the mutant in the crossing program, and you develop, and you see in the right side number of the seed has increased as well as the length of. So this is how we have to. This is some of the physiological mutations where the efficient photosynthesis of the plants taken place in the light green leaf, and their yield is more than the dark green leaves. This is the rust-resistant mutant. You see in the field, right hand side there is a resistant mutant, and left hand you see in the field itself only it is susceptible. And this is a new disease, yellow rust resistant, a new disease in India. You see yellow mosaic virus resistant in the mung bean. Okay, this is the dwarf mutant. Right hand side you can see the number of the siliquas and the seeds. It is as good as the tall plant. So we need to develop the efficient plant type like this. Okay, this is just an example. The sunflower plant, we have isolated mutant. It's just 10 centimeter tall. It is not for the yield purpose, but it is for the basic purpose, basic studies purpose. Again, there are the mutations for the various character in the. This is one of the best example. The quality of the life, as you said, the linseed has the 50% linolenic acid, which is not desirable for the human health. So we have isolated a mutant which is having the just 2% linolenic acid. Now this particular linseed oil, we can keep it for the longer period. As the quantity of the linolenic acid is more, we cannot keep, and therefore linseed is called, its use in the varnishes and the paints. But now we have developed the variety which is having only 2%. So we can keep it for the longer period, and it is good for the health also. So this has been recognized by the Indian Council of Agriculture Research. This is again the wheat mutants having the left hand side, right hand side you can see the control variety, and left hand side you can see the increased iron, zinc and manganese. This is the health point of view. This is the first bold-seeded sesamum variety developed in the BRC, that it is having 4.4 to 4.5 gram per 1000 weight. The white seed and the bold seed, it is demand in the international market. So we have developed and there is no germplasm or the variety in India which is having this quality. So there is a lot of demand in the international market. See, this unseasonal rain affects the crop like anything. If there is a mature crop and the rain comes, so it will germinate. That is called as a pre-harvest sprouting. You can see this is the upper line, this is the susceptible crop, but we have developed the mutant which is a pre-harvest sprouting resistant. So using all this technology in the various pulses, oil seeds and the cereals, we have developed near about 70 crop varieties. These are our very, very popular varieties among the, in the morning we were discussing whether your varieties has gone to the farmer. These are all popular varieties in the India. Coming to the edible oil, the government of India spends near about 100,000 crores of rupees to import the edible oil for the fulfillment of our demand. 100,000 crores. That much amount. And we need near about 30 million tons of the oil, and we produce only 12 million tons. So this 18 million tons we need to, and for that we spend a huge amount. So there is urgent need to develop the high-yielding varieties in the edible oil also. We have developed near about 16 high-yielding varieties in the groundnut. I will not go into the details of the varieties, but you see, we have covered almost all India and released the varieties in the various states. These are some of the characters we can say. This is the popular bold-seeded varieties. Bold-seeded varieties. These are also the confectionery purpose varieties. And it is not only the farmers, they themselves speak about our varieties and the yield which they get it in their field. This is the example of the Gujarat Mandi. Wherever there is, the farmer says this is the tag varieties. Tag varieties means Trombe, Akola, groundnut. Okay? Once they says the Trombe varieties, they will get the 100 rupees more. So this is what the advantage of the research which has gone to the farmers level. This is my work where I have developed near about 7 high-yielding varieties in the mustards, and now it is being spreading all over India. This is the plant type in the Vidarbha region. There is the farmers mela with the ladies farmers group. And this is one of the farmers, he said, it is so good crop that Vidarbha is not a traditional mustard growing area. But the farmer said just to put this variety, and in Hindi said, mustard ka seed laga or so jao. What he meant to say that there is not much inputs required from the farmer. So they are very happy, and since last 3 years now the area of this variety is increasing like anything. I talked about our linseed variety, which is now becoming very popular. Among the pulses also we have worked on the green gram, black gram, and the urd bean, mung bean, cowpea, and pigeon pea. I will give just some of the very popular variety that is again being cultivated all over the India and having the various characters of the biotic and abiotic stresses. The pigeon pea variety TJT1, it is becoming very popular in the MP particularly. This is TU94 urd bean variety. TAU1, in the morning I was saying that the urd bean or the dosa or the vada which we have eaten today as a breakfast, probably it might be out of our varieties, because the 90% of the urd bean cultivation in the Maharashtra, it is from this variety. It is from the TAU91, 90% area of the urd bean cultivation. This is again the mung bean varieties which are popular, and some of the varieties are so early that you harvest the rice crop and spread the seed of our varieties, and within 70 days, this variety. So the farmers from the Andhra Pradesh, they were very happy to cultivate our varieties. This is mung bean variety, it is the Maharashtra farmers. This I was talking about. Tur variety, 501. Once we went to the MP and we were traveling. So from along the roadside, both the side, hectares together and kilometers together, this variety was cultivated. So this is how the BRC has made the impact on the agriculture. These are the recently released wheat variety in the MP. This is the second variety. This is the first time we have released the wheat variety from the BRC. And the rice improvement program is going on in the Chhattisgarh, and near about 9 high-yielding varieties are the. Not only that, we do all the basic genetic, biochemical, physiological analysis and molecular analysis, and we show that how this mutation is helpful for the crop improvement. And we go at the gene level and study the markers. I will not go into the detail. These are the linkage map of some of the black grams, groundnut, okay? And these are some of the public. We do work on, even in the tissue culture. We have developed the good protocol of the banana propagation, and induce the dwarf mutant. Now this variety will come into the farmer's field. Now it is in the final release stage. Okay. Okay, I think one of the face must be, some of you must be knowing Dr. Anil Kakodkar is there. He was so enthusiastic about the agriculture. He used to visit our field and discuss about our program, and I was lucky enough to be with him to explain the research program. And BRC director, Dr. Sinha, visited our field, and our group director as well as the head of the department who used to go to the various fields throughout the India, discuss with the farmers, distribute our seed, find out their problems and try to solve it. This is how we work in the BRC, and this is how we have come to the stage that our crop varieties are there throughout the India, in all the states, So that is one of the happy moment. It is, India has, besides BRC, other agriculture universities also worked, and all over India 350 varieties, mutant varieties, and in the world 3,450 high-yielding varieties has been developed using the mutation breeding technique. Now there are the advances in the mutation breeding like a tilling or the CRISPR particularly. That is also very precisely, I will not go into the details of it. We have the one more technique called as the sterile insect technique. If you want to control the population of the insect, we can irradiate the male insect, and in the subsequent generation, the population, that it becomes sterile, and in subsequent population, in the subsequent generation, the population of the, this is one of the very good plant. It is called as the Susbania rostrata, green manure plant, where the nodules you will find on the stem of the plant. Okay? And these nodules will fix the atmospheric nitrogen. It works like a urea. In a 55 days duration, it fixes near about 120 kg of the nitrogen. Now, with the deteriorating soil quality, there is no option but to cultivate some of the plants like this to increase the fertility of the soil. This is how we do. Now coming to the food area, there is a large number of the losses. When you harvest the food, keep it in the storage, bring it to the market, there is a large amount of the wastage of the food. So food irradiation is the process where the ionizing radiations are used, and they control the bacteria, pathogen, insects, and other undesirable organisms. Its benefits are increase in the shelf life, eliminates the harmful bacteria and insects, and it is a cold and clean process, and you have to do it after packaging. We can take the agricultural products or the gems or fish or whatever may be, all cereal, pulses, and spices also, fruits, okay, sludge. So in all this process, the pathogens are controlled, and you can see the effects of the where the shelf life is in. You can see the onion, this is non-irradiated, and this is the irradiated. How we can control the wastage. Even the pomegranates, mango, grapes, we can irradiate. This is very helpful for the export purpose. This is the extension of the shelf life. Even the spices, okay? And this is approved by the international authority like a WHO, FAO, IEA, and the FSI in India. So this is my overall this thing, and BRC has contributed significantly in the agriculture and the food. So we says if you ate today, so better to thank the farmer. They are doing the hard work in the field. Normal Borlaug is the person who got the Nobel Prize in the agriculture. He says that you can't build a peaceful world on the empty stomachs and the human miseries. I think you can analyze this. And Buddha says, Hunger is the greatest disease of the human being, and there is no treasure like a rice. So my humble request to all, from today onwards, you can take care that please do not waste the food. You have to respect the farmers, you have to respect the food and eat it. So while, particularly in the social gathering, in the home we try to take care of it, but in the social gathering, if you find the amount of the wastage is goes, then again the relationship is there, the amount of the money we put and the wastage. So please take care, do not waste the food while eating. Love it. Thank you very much. Okay. I think I have taken some 5 minutes more. Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah. And if you are having any kind of the questions, I think it is a bit faster. It takes a lot of time to explain all this. But I will be here for another maybe 1 hour or 2 hours. So anybody is having the... Yes, sir. This is Susbenia. This Susbenia rostrata plant. Yeah, Marathi, I don't know. I will be able to give it. But it's a green manure plant. San MP is different, sir. San MP is different. This is a Susbenia. Marathi name, just I will find out. But it is having the typical character that it has a stem nodules. Yeah. Yeah. Susbenia. Susbenia rostrata is a species. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I have forgotten to tell that particularly for the students, you can visit to our website of the BRC and DAE. There is a OECS program, orientation course for the science graduate and postgraduate. Every year we take the young scientists, but they will have to appear, either they will have to go through all engineering, biological sciences, chemistry, physics, everything. So you will have to appear in the examination, our BRC examination or the GATE score for the engineering. And after the selection, we call for the interview. And once your interview is in the satisfactory manner, I will say the highly satisfactory manner to the committee members. So then we select them as a budding scientist and give the permanent position in the BRC. So the students can use this, the well-channelized program for their as a career. I didn't put this slide over here. Another, I think you must be doing also, for the students, we have your dissertation, thesis writing program. So you can come to the BRC in all subjects. You can come to the BRC, work there for the minimum 6 months, I think, and then you can do your research. So I request all the students from the next year onwards, there should be the maximum selection from the Somaiya College. You take you can take the advantage of it. All the best for this. All the best. Yeah. And, thanks. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Jambulkar. I'm sure your words are a source of inspiration for all researchers, scholars, and students present here. Now, to conclude the inaugural session, I invite Dr. Makarand Kulkarni, Joint Organizing Secretary of ICTEAH to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of organizing committee ICTEAH 2025, first and foremost, our gratitude goes to our today's chief guest, Dr. Sanjay Jambulkar sir, for gracing this occasion with his presence and enlightening us with his inciting words. Sir, your presence has added immense value in this event. I would like to express our gratitude to Honorable Chancellor Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Shri Samir Somaiya sir, for his generous support in making this conference possible. We are thankful to Honorable Secretary Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Lieutenant General H.S. Kahlon sir, Vice Chancellor Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Dr. V.N. Rajashekharan Pillai sir, Pro Vice Chancellor Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Dr. Satish Mod, Registrar Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Dr. N.R. Gilke sir, for their motivation and constant support. We are thankful to Conference Chair and Director, KJ Somaiya School of Engineering, Dr. Suresh Ukrande sir, for his constant support and valuable guidance. We are thankful to Conference Co-Chair and Deputy Director, KJ Somaiya School of Engineering, Dr. Deepak Sharma sir, for his support. We are thankful to our sponsors, MATLAB MathWorks and Renuka Enterprises. Our sincere thanks goes to all the keynote speakers and session chairs for accepting our invitations. We are thankful to all our reviewers for helping us in the entire reviewing process. We are also thankful to all the HODs, associate deans, faculty members, staff members for their kind support. Thanks to entire organizing team, IQSC team, support staff, and all student volunteers. Last but not the least, we are thankful to all the research scholars for submitting their research work in this conference. Thanks to everyone. Thank you.
To take the proceedings forwards, I now invite Dr. Nandana Prabhu, Joint Organizing Secretary of ICTEAH, to convene the plenary talk by Dr. Sudhir Ranjan. I warmly welcome her and hand over the session to her.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's session on quantum computation for energy. We are deeply honored to have with us a distinguished guest, Dr. Sudhir Ranjan Jain, who has made remarkable contribution in the field of theoretical nuclear physics, semi-classical physics, and nonlinear dynamics. Dr. Sudhir Ranjan Jain was an Indian theoretical physicist at the Baba Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, known for his contribution in complex quantum systems and nonlinear dynamics. He was a scientist at the Nuclear Physics Division in Baba Atomic Research Center, a professor at Homi Bhabha National Institute, and is an adjunct professor and member of the academic board at the Center for Excellence in Basic Sciences. He has authored Mechanics, Waves, and Thermodynamics, an example-based approach, and a primer on fluid mechanics with applications. He is a visiting professor, UMDA's Center for Excellence in Basic Sciences. Currently, he has joined as Professor of Eminence at our own university, Somaiya Vidyavihar University. Dr. Sudhir has completed his bachelor's degree from Hindu College, Delhi in 1983 and master's degree from IIT Delhi in 1985. He joined BARC in 1986. Subsequently, he obtained his PhD degree from University of Mumbai in 1994. He did his postdoctoral research at Center for Nonlinear Phenomena and Complex Systems, Université Libre de Bruxelles, Belgium, with Pierre Gaspard, where he worked on semi-classics of many-body fermionic systems. He has been a visiting professor at Istanbul, Turkey, Paris, in France, Institute of Theoretical Physics, Netherlands, and Institute for Physical Science and Technology, University of Maryland College Park. To add to his research work, Dr. Jain is known for his research work on many body systems, especially for Jain-Kare models, which gave exact quantum solutions with connections to random matrix theory, leading to exact eigenfunctions for a class of chaotic systems. His notable works include his work on pseudo-Hermitian random matrix theory, relation of random matrix theory to anion gases, theorems and statistics for integrable billiards and nodal domains, quantum models built on chaotic motion. His work in neutrino physics pioneered in calculation of geometric phases in neutronics. Among other contributions, Dr. Sudhir made significant developments towards the exact semi-classical treatment of deuteron, which he further extended to nuclear three-body problem of triton. He has also worked on quantum computation and quantum information science. He was the scientific secretary of the 20th Solvay Conference on Femtochemistry. He was also the convener of International Conference on Complex Quantum Systems in 2017, 2020, and 2023. He has received the various awards, the first one being Indian National Scientific Academy Medal for Young Scientist in the year 1994, Anil Kumar Bose Memorial Award 1999 for his work relating to geometric phases and response functions. Request all of you to join me in welcoming Dr. Sudhir Ranjan Jain onto the stage. Let's give him a warm round of applause. Yeah, but now because
इसको वो कर देते हैं. Mic, I should use this mic. Good morning, everyone. I'm very grateful for the invitation to this international conference by Professor Suresh Okrandi and all the organizing team. I'm extremely grateful to Vice Chancellor Professor Pillai for the kind words he made during his speech about me and my participation in this university. I really look forward to that, and I am very eager to contribute in every possible way to this tremendous institution. Today, I'm going to talk about quantum computation for energy. I'm going to be a little bit fast and maybe skip a few things because the time is shortened by a quarter of an hour, so I have to do some adjustment with my content. So this is a topic that I chose, which basically I wanted to say that I want to discuss relevance of quantum computation, quantum information, quantum logic, and the thought that goes behind it to modernize our thinking to subjects like energy, agriculture, and healthcare. So let's see how it works. I was recently in an automobile museum in Turin, and there is a tremendous quote there which I saw. Each day we influence the course of the future through our questions, discoveries, needs, and individual and collective behaviors, as well as the decisions and investments made by institutions and governments. And I think this is a central, it summarizes all that we actually do. Energy is everywhere, right? We take accelerators, carbon capture, engine design, fusion, nuclear energy, wind energy, it's everywhere. And it then is connected to the advances we want to make to Earth or space science, which then gets connected to questions which are related to astrophysics, cosmology, climate, earthquakes, subsurface. And so we come to the fundamental question, what is energy? When I was writing my book, the first book, which is at Cambridge University Press, Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, has it in the first semester as their curriculum of that book. And the first section is energy, and I was asking myself the question, what is energy after all? And how do I define energy? I mean, we know energy, but do we know how to define it? So the usual definition is capacity to do work. All right. That's the energy definition. But this is not universal, because if you look at things which are not mechanical, this definition is correct for mechanical examples. But if you take non-mechanical examples, energy is still there. How about nutrition, the cereals, other things, and in so many things. So this cannot be universal definition. Okay, then what else is universal? Universal is the fact that total energy is conserved. If we go deeper, we can prove in physics that if a process is time translation invariant, which means that if I perform an experiment today and I perform an experiment tomorrow, or I have done it yesterday, the same experiment, same conditions, I am guaranteed to get the same outcome. And this is a consequence of energy conservation. Right? It was not thought like this when it was introduced in the first place by Joule in 1850s, but this we can prove actually in a matter of 15 minutes in a class. Okay? But I then go back, where is this conservation law coming from? And I believe very strongly that it's coming from the great book Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. And today happens to be Adam Smith's birth date, June 5th, 1723, that he was born 302 years ago. And he wrote this book, which is Wealth of Nations, published in 1776. And there he introduced the idea of currency and wealth. And the idea underlying currency is that the total currency is conserved. There was a quantity which is conserved and is distributed in a variety of ways. And then it is used for different purposes. That's what every nation does. And this is exactly what energy does. From 1776 to 1850s, when something like 75 years passed, people had this in mind, that there is this idea of a quantity which is in total conserved, but it is going to participate in every underlying process that we can imagine in this universe. There is nothing that happens without energy, right? So the central thesis, I have this fat book, Adam Smith, in my library at home, that our individual need to fulfill self-interest results in societal benefit. I think this is a one-line summary of all that you can do and accomplish in a place, at home, in institution, anywhere, in any section of society, or at any time in your life. The force behind this fulfillment is named as the invisible hand by Adam Smith. So that's what we understand by energy. The next thing is computation. Now, how about computation? All of us that do computation It started with the idea of natural numbers, and natural numbers are counting numbers. We have 1 apple, 2 apples, etc. 1 idli, 2 idlis, 5 idlis, and so on. And these numbers are closed under addition, that you add 2 natural numbers and you get a natural number. There is an identity which you need. Identity is something that if you start with 2 apples and don't eat them, the 2 apples remain 2. So when you don't eat them, you add a 0, which was discovered by Aryabhatta, the great Indian mathematician. As soon as you have a 0, you have immediately an additive inverse, that if I have money or I lose money, if I lose as much money as I gained, I should have nothing. And there should be a mathematical representation of losing or gaining, which should be negative of each other. You get an idea of additive inverse, and therefore you get integers, and from integers you get repeated addition, which leads to multiplication, which is then closed under addition and multiplication. But if you go to multiplicative inverse, you have 2 apples, then you have a half of an apple. Now that is not an integer, so you have to invent other numbers like rational numbers and real numbers. And up to real numbers, all numbers can be ordered. There is a lesser or greater and nothing else. You have less, greater, or equal. Then come complex numbers, which cannot be ordered because points on a plane cannot be ordered. Points on a line can be ordered. You get a completely different paradigm of human thought as soon as you have complex numbers. I should remind you, with the risk of losing time, not to finish my talk, but it's a very interesting point that there are examples in the books by Leelavati and the mathematicians like Bhaskaracharya and Mahavira. There are maths problems, word problems, that there are so many swans sitting here near the river. There are so many swans sleeping, and so much subtraction like that. Word problems we have done in our childhood, and you try to set an equation for that. You realize that you get a quadratic and sometimes a cubic equation, but that cubic equation, you look for solutions, they pass through the complex numbers. Now, number of swans cannot be complex, right? They can't even be fractional. And there is a glorious cancellation of signs, and eventually you get a actual counting number like 5 swans. And this is a very interesting thought, that sometimes what we think as real numbers or natural numbers, the logic of that, the philosophy of that passes through the complex plane in the consciousness and of thought in such a way that it transcends the area where it is not supposed to be, but in the end it lands on that at the right with the right answer. Right. Some years ago, I gave a talk here on consciousness, and I mentioned about human memory and was referring to the work by the great John Eccles, who was a Nobel laureate for neurophysiology. Today is not the day for that. So computation is connected to very many important things which are in everybody's wallet, like credit cards and the passwords which are in your mind, and you would not like them to be somehow cracked. And their cracking or not cracking is related to factorization of numbers, factorization of large numbers. Numbers are very tricky. When they are small, we all understand. Right? On the right-hand side, you have this right-angle triangle, which everybody can see that it's a right-angle triangle. 3 square plus 4 square is 5 square, all right. 9 plus 16 is 25. So we understand that. This can be stated in a different way. I make a circle with radius 1, and I think this, so pointer doesn't work, but I'll manage. So radius 1, I made a grid here, and this 3 square plus 4 square equal to 5 square is equivalent to finding a point which is like 3 by 5, 4 by 5 on the unit circle, right? Because, so that's a rational point on the unit circle. It is a very important exercise. Can you draw a circle with radius 1 like this, and how many rational points does it have? Okay. This was found by Indian mathematicians and also by Diophantus, and one can actually do a very interesting exercise and show that there are infinitely many rational points. All right, so rational points, vertices on the graph paper, and these are exactly, the rational points are, as you see here, the graph, I've drawn a graph, and on that this is 3 by 5, 4 by 5 sitting on a vertex of that. So if you make this graph paper finer and finer, in the limit of making it finer and finer, there will be infinitely many vertices of that very fine graph paper through which this circle is going to pass. I hope this is understood, because now I'm going to do something which will not be understood at all. Okay? Right? So this is clear, right? That if I make this graph paper infinitely finer, this circle is going to pass through infinitely many vertices which correspond to rational points like this. Okay. Now we have this graph. This red graph is an example of this equation, x to the power n plus y to the power n equal to z to the power n for n equal to 4. N equal to 4. So x to the power 4 plus y to the power 4 equal to z to the power 4. I divide by z to the power 4. So I have x by z to the power 4 plus y by z to the power 4 equal to 1. Okay, that's the graph this is, with power 4. Now what you cannot understand by any common sense whatsoever is that if this power n, like here 4, is anything greater than 2, this red graph does not pass through any vertex under the limit of infinitely fine graph paper. I can make this graph paper as fine as you like, but this red graph, red curve, does not pass through any vertex. This incomprehensible statement is related to the Fermat's last theorem, which was proved by Andrew Wiles. And questions like this, which relate to computation, cryptography, and number theory, very deep results in number theory, these are intimately connected to the breaking of codes which are used in computation, cryptography, and everything. So computation is a very deep thing. It starts with counting swans and so on, but then it goes to this type of thing which you cannot imagine. I mean, you would say that अगर ग्राफ पेपर बहुत ही फाइन कर दोगे तो किसी वर्टेक्स से तो जाएगा ना. हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल कि किसी पर भी नहीं जाएगा अंडर infinite limit? It can be proved, and it was proved by Andrew Wiles, who is considered one of the greatest mathematicians of present times. Okay. The problem was open for 350 years, stated by Fermat, and so it had to wait for Andrew Wiles. So factorization is connected to the fact that any number can be written uniquely as powers of natural numbers to prime numbers. Right? Anything that you can imagine can always be written in terms of powers of primes. And there are algorithms which are used to factorize large numbers. These algorithms are usually classical algorithms in computer science, but then you have 16-digit credit card number. This 16-digit credit card number, I can find in a matter of seconds which are the prime numbers in terms of which it can be written. And these prime numbers you will always find are large prime numbers. Because if these are small prime numbers, a hacker can get into your system. So these are prime numbers. So there is a certain time it takes to factorize a large number using a classical algorithm. Right? Now with quantum algorithm, there is a Shor's algorithm. As soon as you put quantum logic, this factorization process becomes dramatically smaller. And so 16-digit credit card number that you can crack in seconds, fraction of seconds, which in classical algorithm takes hours and so on. So there is this timeout time set on the ATM machine, and that timeout time is actually connected to a classical algorithm able to get into your system and factorize a large number. Right? That time will disappear. And so the systems become very unstable with respect to security. So computation is very important. Then there is quantum mechanics. I thought I'll tell you a little bit about quantum mechanics, but that part I'm going to skip to save for what I think is more relevant in general. I think everybody knows quantum mechanics to some extent. So there are two types of people in general: those people who have not understood quantum mechanics, and those who have understood quantum mechanics, but then in the end they say, including Richard Feynman, that if you think that you have understood quantum mechanics, you must have lost your mind, right? So in 10 minutes, if I try to introduce, and if I skip it, it would do no harm. Because if you don't know, there is no chance. If you know anyway, you know that it's not possible. So, so this is the part which I can skip. And now that I'm here, all my friends can come to my office and we can discuss quantum mechanics. That's not a problem. So in any case, there is quantum mechanics that we know, but I want to just tell you very quickly. For me, it is like this. We have hierarchy of sciences, where we have problems in physics, chemistry, and biology with increasing order of complexity. Simply because biological systems are real and they are very, very messy and so on. Like in physics, you can have a hydrogen atom. Now, nobody in biology is interested in hydrogen atom. I mean, my friend Sanjay Jambulkar will not be interested in hydrogen atom. वो कहेंगे crop कुछ grow करो, कुछ practical काम करो कोई. So what is hydrogen atom? So yeah, I mean, yeah. So chemistry is more molecules, more complicated stuff than biology is more complicated. Everything requires mathematics. There's no question about that, right? But for me, quantum mechanics is the OS, is the operating system which uses mathematical ideas and finds answers for your problems in physics, chemistry, and biology. So quantum mechanics is the OS, basically. So quantum mechanics is the operating system, the second line, that other physical theories run on as application software, which physicists say to quantize. Okay, but quantum mechanics is basically a generalization of law of probability. Just to give you a shortest possible introduction to quantum mechanics, is that we know that if we work with probabilities, we say that the sum of probabilities is 1, because the total probability should be equal to 1, right? If we change this law, to the following, that sum of squares of certain amplitudes sum to 1. Instead of saying that x plus y plus z equal to 1, I say x square plus y square plus z square equal to 1. If I ask my probabilities to follow this quadratic norm, the 2 norm, x square plus the second power, I get quantum mechanics. So that is but it's a very cryptic introduction to quantum mechanics, right? So, yeah, but all these, anyway. So we come to this simple question, what is a quantum computer? Well, so they're not just fast computers. We have fast computers like parallel computers and so on. Classical computation uses Boolean algebra, logic based on bits, zeros and ones. Quantum computation is based on algebra, what is called qubits, which allows a very strange thing, that a cat is not just dead or alive. Cat is in general in a superposition of a state which is dead or alive, which is not very difficult to imagine. Because I have been sitting in talks, listening to people, even in my subject topic, and I'm in a sort of dazed state. Am I understanding? Am I not understanding? So I'm perhaps with some probability amplitude alpha understanding, with some probability beta not understanding, but because I exist, alpha square plus beta square must be 1. So it's okay. I mean, I'm somewhere between understanding and not understanding. In that kind of state, you are sort of entangled, right? And that's the idea of entanglement, that you are entangled. The systems are entangled. Entanglement in the most beautiful form. I imagine that sometimes when I'm not well, and I'm feeling very unwell, and suddenly my mother will call and say that, are you feeling well? And she is 1,500 kilometers from here, so then I say that we must be entangled. Well, but that's not a serious example, but that's a thing which I think almost every one of us sort of experiences. What we need to develop is the last line, is a new technology and effective quantum algorithms to our advantage. Now, I want to give a real life example. And this is particularly because today is the World Environment Day. I chose an example from climate. Okay, a real problem which has been actually done by people. There is the trouble we have is we have a climate community. and we have a quantum computing community. And there is a dialogue which is missing. These are two different people, and there is an unexplored dialogue. And one needs to establish this dialogue. And one of the things that we should be doing at this time, developing this university and everywhere in our country, is to establish dialogue between community which has certain type of problems and quantum computing or information community who understand that problem. The both communities have to march towards each other to make sense. And let's see if it is possible to give an example. The potential of quantum computing is in simulation of physical systems, optimization, machine learning. Now, we all know that classical computing has limitations. So how can quantum computing help? The question here, the specific question is, how quantum computing can be used to reduce the negative impact of air travel on the climate by optimizing flight trajectories? So we have this question. It's a very practical question. And so we all know that there is an increase in global temperature and alterations in weather pattern. And the driving factor of this human-made crisis is an increase of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere. And to give you the exact numbers, carbon dioxide concentration has increased, this is 2023, from pre-industrial level of 280 ppm to more than 410 ppm today. And if we go to pre-human age, just to tell you what we have done to our Earth, the pre-human age, this change would have taken between 5,000 to 20,000 years, and we have achieved it in 60 years. And we are very ashamed of ourselves, because not some positive advance that we have made. That we have made this dramatic deterioration in just 60 years, which would have taken between 5,000 and 20,000 years. And so this is an important problem and a very complicated problem. So we want to investigate how quantum computing can help to improve materials used in direct air capture of carbon dioxide. How do we do that? We have to figure out how metal organic frameworks, which are called MOFs, can be leveraged in this DAC by calculating potential energy surfaces of atmospheric gas molecules, the important molecules like carbon dioxide, water, nitrogen. These are diatomic, triatomic molecules. So we have to develop a general concept to calculate the ideal CO2 binding capacity per filter volume of these metal organic frameworks on a near-term quantum computer and estimate what kind of quantum hardware is required to solve this problem. That is, if you give me these many qubits and this type of framework, then I'll get rid of this problem. So one has to get the potential energy surface. How do you, which is related to questions of sustainability, right? So this has been solved. I don't have time to give you the solution. I can give you exact references where the solution has been made and people have found potential energy surfaces abroad. But in our country also we have done, I'll come to that example. So we are in general with chemistry and materials, and the important topics, this is of course subjective, is you have additive manufacturing, catalysis, chemistry, materials, molecular dynamics, and quantum theory. Potential energy surface of a diatomic molecule can be calculated only by solving the Schrödinger equation in quantum theory. So we need to go to quantum chemistry. We have potential energy surfaces which give us the lowest molecular energy of a diatomic, triatomic molecule. We have to solve this equation. Whatever this equation is called Schrödinger equation. And the solution for this involves determining a phase. And that requires a phase estimation algorithm. And there is no phase estimation algorithm which can be faster than a quantum algorithm, because quantum algorithm only calculates phase. So you are right on dot. With quantum logic, you calculate phase fastest. No classical algorithm can ever calculate phase faster than this quantum algorithm. And so the specific method is called the variational quantum energy solver. All right. And of course, these are used for other areas also and for national security. But this is an example from an Indian work which was done a few years ago to calculate molecular energies. The computation was done at BRC, and it was a collaboration between ICTEAH in Mumbai and BRC, our computer science, computer division group, my own colleague Raman Sehgal, chemist Professor Radha Jairam, and student involved. And these calculations are not just academic calculations. These calculations are the first step to drug discovery. If you want to find out what kind of complex drug can be devised, you need to do a simulation. You can't keep making drugs that costs a lot. You have to make a simulation of that, make a calculation of potential energy surface, find molecular energy, and then see if it is a useful proposition. And then you go ahead with the process of the organic chemist getting around and making the drug. So this is by these people. I am very fond of 2021. But it was done in Bombay, here in Mumbai, right, a few kilometers from here. It is also done by other people abroad, but so we can do this, right? The fact that you are able to read error correction and quantum jumps here is thanks to the error correction which is taking place continuously as this computer is working. As this computer is working, errors means you have, all the data, our names and speeches and everything is encoded in the strings of zeros and ones which are bits. And these zeros and ones keep flipping randomly because of noise and so many things which happen in the transmission. And the error correction protocols fix it on the fly in such a way that you see nothing, that there is no error. I mean, there is just everything is happening. But this is not the case with quantum computing. Quantum computing is based on quantum jumps. And so every transition takes place as a quantum jump. Now, if a system as an algorithm progresses, if there is a wrong quantum jump which is made, then it is made. Now, you can't do anything, right? So what you need to do is that you have to be able to reverse that jump. Now, reversing a quantum jump almost means arresting the time. You have to stop time. You have to arrest time. I mean, I'm serious. You have to arrest time. You have to go in some sense back in time. Because there is a jump which has taken. Now you have to go back in time, correct it, and march forward. This has been actually achieved experimentally. 3 years ago, by the group of Yale University, the Zlatko Minev, and that's called, and that is called catching and reversing the jump. Catching and reversing the jump involves, as I said, arresting time and redefining the idea of time. And that brings us to Albert Einstein, who said about time, the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. And the fact is that there is something called Zeno effect, and you can actually do quantum Zeno effect, that you have a system, if you keep measuring, keep observing it continuously, it stops evolving. And by a light pulse, you can actually go back in time and correct the error. So with some students, we published this entire philosophy in one of the leading archival journal, Annals of Physics, which is now existing as a theorem in the fields of quantum error correction. And so this is not just an experiment by Zlatko and Michel Devore. We've shown that it is a theorem, it's a philosophy which can be used. I don't know how much time do I have? Okay, 5. She says 5, I'll take 7. So, yeah, so for energy, I think this is a trivial statement. Engines are ubiquitous in nature and technology. What is an engine? So I'll spend very less time on this. Open system that can undergo cyclic transformation producing work is an engine. But the point is that what provides energy to perform work? It's the external disequilibrium, right? So if that external disequilibrium is thermal, we have a heat engine. If it is chemical potential difference, we have a chemical engine. And so one can produce engines and give efficiency of engines, right? Now, this idea of thermodynamics was taken to information theory by Leo Szilard. Leo Szilard is the same person who made the first atomic pile with Enrico Fermi, first atomic pile. And there are people who have contributed. This I have to skip, I'm sorry. But we come to quantum engines. And in that, you all use lasers, right? So Albert Einstein showed that there is a relation of stimulated emission and radiation absorption. The light is absorbed and there is stimulated emission, there is a spontaneous emission. There are two types of emissions take place. It's a stimulated emission which participates in the process which makes lasers, and the three-level maser or laser is actually like a quantum engine. Okay. So now these are engines which are like lasers, masers, etc. We can do laser cooling. We can take an atom, bring it to rest by laser cooling. But there is something else which happens in our bodies and in many natural processes, which is directionality of motion. All the engines work in a certain direction. There is a certain direction in which energy is spent or a certain motion is taking place. This is a simulation of a synthetic molecular motor. All our, like making artificial muscles or other human parts, like artificial muscles for heart functioning, all kinds of things. Functioning of mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of energy in our cell. All these are connected to molecular motors. And for molecular motors, Ben Feringa was given Nobel Prize some years ago. And this directional motion is naturally connected to symmetry breaking, because if there is only one way in which things are happening, it is non-symmetric, right? So there is symmetry breaking. This symmetry breaking is a very important thing if you want to couple to quantum engines, right? Now, this is not connected to Wi-Fi, otherwise I would have shown you a movie of what is called the Belousov-Zhabotinsky reaction, which was done, was suggested by the group of Ilya Prigogine, in whose group I worked as a postdoc in Brussels in 1977. He won Nobel Prize in chemistry. And there is this reaction where these chemicals are added, and this mixture becomes violet color, it changes to blue color, then it changes to violet color, and keeps on doing chemical oscillations forever. So the oscillations are induced because of a certain chemical reaction which is taking place. It's like a chemical engine. Okay. Now, I hope you are able to see this thing in the middle. It's called the dilution refrigerator. This thing is called a dilution refrigerator. Any quantum computer lab looks like this. This is a very beautiful. Oh, yeah. Is it an AI generated picture or? No. This is actual thing. This is actual. This is not AI. This is actual thing. I'm not so loud. I hope you can. Yeah. So this is a dilution refrigerator. Okay. And at the end of this dilution refrigerator, here, in this place, at the lowest point, I like to say everything again. Yeah. So it is a dilution refrigerator. At the lowest point of that, there is a chip. That chip has a thing called Josephson junction. Josephson junction is actually two metal pieces which have an insulating layer in between. And Brian Josephson, as a graduate student, asked, can I pass a current and it will go through because of quantum tunneling? If you really believe tunneling, I put an insulator here. Can it jump? Can the electron jump over the insulator and actually make current? And it happened. And Brian Josephson got Nobel Prize for this work. That Josephson junction has two states which act as qubits for a quantum chip. That quantum chip works at a temperature of 30 millikelvin. Here in this room, we are at 300 Kelvin. So we have to go down 5 orders in magnitude, 1 lakh times lower to go to 30 millikelvin. And what is this device doing? This big thing in a room is trying to cool that small piece. It's like putting water, a glass of water on a dining table and trying to lower the temperature of the entire dining hall to somehow make it become ice. Right? I mean, it's kind of crazy to do this type of thing, but that's the only way right now. And the fact that quantum computers are not going to be useful in a practical way is because of this bulky character there. Now, is it possible that we treat Josephson junction as a quantum engine and devise a method to get rid of the refrigerator, inspired by the molecular motors? Can we make symmetry breaking and somehow invent something that Josephson junction will start losing energy and cool itself? And then we get rid of the fridge, Then we have quantum computers in your hand. You make a laptop of quantum computer, right? That's what is required. And I tell you very honestly that these are the type of questions that I have come to join with this place yesterday. This is what inspires me, that we have to do this type of thing at this level to really make a definitive change in the whole thought which leads to technology. And of course, everything passes to fundamentals and everything, but in the end, one should be able to say something more useful in a definitive way. There's something called quantum technology. Every one of us using GPS. Now I'm in the last 2 grace minutes, right? I'm going to definitely stop in 120 seconds. So there are many quantum technologies. One of the things is that we use GPS. GPS uses gravitational constant, the value of gravitational constant, which is connected to the acceleration due to gravity. Gravitational constant needs to be measured precisely. And there is this lab. This lab is in few places in the world. One of the places in Florence. The authors are there on the right. What do they use here to calculate the gravitational constant? They have, so they are inspired by the Leaning Tower of Pisa, where we know the experiment that Galileo did. Here they're going to make atoms fall. So atoms are made to fall freely in a fountain, and then they are addressed, interrogated by laser pulses, and they interfere, and by the interference and the phase that comes out of interference, you calculate the gravitational constant. This is one of the most precise calculation of gravitational constant that one can make based on atomic interference and quantum technologies built out of this. This big lab has to be miniaturized, and those gravity gradiometers or gravimeters, etc., have to be portable to go around. If they are portable, one uses them for oil exploration. Because if they are here, by the phase, I know if there is rock content here or oil content in this place. So I don't do excavation. I take this around on drones or cars and actually solve the problem of exploration of oil and many other things. So quantum technology has an enormous reach. I am really at the end of my talk, and I want to conclude by saying that we need to develop novel courses if we want to get anywhere with this, where in addition to the general things like linear algebra, advanced calculus, we need to develop mathematical thinking, interplay of geometry and algebra, and use all this to actually go to cryptography or quantum technology. This has to happen in maths and computer science and so on. Hand in hand, we need to have in physics, quantum physics, information, computing, errors, encoding, decoding. Again, once you do encoding, decoding, you need to consult the computer science guys. So there is no way that you can actually get any of these things done alone. We have to work together to get anything done, and it is possible. I mean, we understand what is to be done, so we can do all this, right? And we will do it, right? That's one of the agenda that we have to do it, and hopefully we'll be the first to do it here. So I end with the quote by von Neumann: "The sciences do not try to explain; they hardly even try to interpret. They mainly make models. By a model is meant a mathematical construct which, with the addition of certain verbal interpretations, describes observed phenomena. The justification of such a mathematical construct is solely and precisely that it is expected to work, that is correct to describe phenomena from a reasonably wide area. Furthermore, it must satisfy certain aesthetic criteria, that is, in relation to how much it describes, it must be rather simple." With that quote of von Neumann, I wish you again a great conference and a lot of happiness and great health. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insightful presentation. You have presented to us quantum computation in simple way, that too within the limited time. Now I request our director, Dr. Suresh Ukrande, sir, to please come on stage to present the memento.
Some of the bright minds in quantum physics and quantum I'll send you the program already. Yes. If you are please attend it or email. Yes. I sent it already. Sent it. Okay.
Any questions from the audience? Okay. Sir, please. Yeah. I request our director, Dr. Suresh Okrandey, to.
Yes, sir. Okay. How many years will you take to design and implement a quantum machine of any kind in this universe? You have all chemistry. You think about how you will get all the things. Think about.
Yes. I mean,
that's why I asked about whether it's an AI-generated one.
No. No, this is not from our country.
I
Yes,
know that.
yes.
My question is,
No, this is not AI.
in our country here,
In our country,
how many
we.
years, how many people and how many.
Yes, sir. So.
Let us think about it.
Yes, yes.
This question open.
So at BRC, I was given a complete freedom to select people. We had something like 30 people who are from computer science, mechanical engineering, cryotechnology, electronics, all sorts of physics, whatever people. Yes, so all are here, and we started from, yes, but we did not have a dilution refrigerator. That can be bought, but there is no hurry to buy these things. First of all, we have to bring our understanding so that we can actually do things, and then we need to buy a certain stuff, get it ready. It will take, I mean, if we start from scratch, I think it should take something like 5 to 7 years to be realistic. I mean, a random statement is not or not good. Right. Oh yeah, that is.
You know that from synthetic chemistry he developed. I have also seen, maybe it took more 25 years for him to develop.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, he and the mechanical bond person who is in Northwestern University, those people shared the Nobel Prize. The Ben Feringer. The point here, important point is to get rid of the fridge. We need to get rid of the fridge. We have to somehow do research that a Josephson junction or an equivalent something which has two states does not require a fridge like that, a bulky thing like that, to reduce the space, and then it becomes really practical. So on one hand, we need to practice making a laboratory and somewhere to work on these things. On the other hand, we need to do research to get rid of this huge object.
One more question, of course, you are also working for the quantum mission of the country also. Of course, I just saw that only one or two major projects have come out of the different institutes.
ICTEAH Pune.
ICTEAH Pune one with 3 institutes.
Yes. ICTEAH Pune has, TIFR has, and ISC Bangalore has. So on 20th January 2024, we had announced that we are going to now disburse money, which was 6,003 crores. I was in the expenditure committee also for the cabinet note also. Yes, so 6,003 crores were finally allocated by Nirmala Sitharamanji finally, and then we have peer reviewed 137 projects which were submitted, and money has been given to certain people, but then people start asking money sometimes not so responsibly, so we have to discuss with them, this much money for what and so on, and sometimes the answers are not convincing. So some of the places, there is a place in Calcutta also who are trying to do something, TCG Crest, that. So there are some people who are making experimental advances, and there are theoretical progress which is made by certain people. Yeah. So.
The courses you mentioned about certain courses.
Yes.
Some of the things let us enthuse youngsters.
Yeah.
Let them do it after 50 years of them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that we need to contemporize and modernize the courses by keeping in mind where we want to end. So by having a goal in mind, we need to go back and see what kind of maths and physics and other things are missing. So we put all that in place and see what needs to be done. That we can certainly do. Yes, sir. Yes.
So I request our Director, Dr. Suresh Ukarande, sir, to please present memento to Dr. Sudhir Ranjan. Two announcements before we conclude. First is all the oral presentation and the poster presentation participants, please proceed to the Aryabhatta staircase for the photo session with the dignitaries. I request all the organizing committee members also to please join us for the photo session. The second announcement is after that a short tea break, and then you please proceed to the various sessions for your presentations.